Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The Rams move on. Plus, let's make some playoff picks. And later, divisional round time. We preview Rams at Bears. Let's rock.
We here, man. We gotta take advantage of victory on one, boys. Let's go. Yeah!
This is Rams Showcase with Sheriff Joe Baggs.
Yes, welcome to it. Rams Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Baggs, at Sheriff Joe Baggs at Rams Showcase. That's where you follow along on socials, also ramshowcase.com. Shout out to Loren helping me out with the intro there. Socials will be in the description no matter where you can hear or see me, so check me out there. Make sure you also check me out. Right now we're doing 5 days a week on Tuna and the Sheriff. Every weekday morning, 7 a.m. LA time. That's broadcast live on the Rams Showcase Facebook page, as well as the First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel. Links, again, will be in the description below, no matter where you can hear or see me. And yes, as long as the Rams are playing football this season, we're going 5 days a week. Our normal schedule is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm not sure yet what the off-season schedule is going to look like, but we'll update you when it's time to worry about off-season stuff, dude, because not yet, man. The Rams defeating the Carolina Panthers last week. Close game. Straight up close game. I'll be honest. I don't want to dive fully into it. We know what happened, but just kind of my own thoughts here that have also kind of been shared on Tuna and the Sheriff all week long. But just ultimately that I think that the reaction to the score is a little bit more extreme than I was anticipating. Because first of all, we're in the playoffs now. So just dubs are dubs are dubs are dubs. Just get the win. That's really the only thing that matters. It's not like if the Rams, move on to following weeks, if we get a couple more games after this or anything like that, they're not going to be like, but it was pretty close against Carolina, so we're actually going to hold that trophy. Like, that's not a real thing, so it's going to be okay. But ultimately, I think that really just the Panthers are a bit of a bad matchup for the Rams. I just think that they kind of match up well against what the Rams are trying to do. And, of course, we'll dive into the Chicago Bears this week. Been a bit since we played the Bears. It was the last season in September, so basically 2 full seasons ago that we've played against these guys. But should be some good action. Going to be chilly for sure, but should be some good action. As far as news goes, there's really not a whole lot to get into. There's not a lot of movement happening right now. It's pretty much just game time. We're preparing for some football games this weekend. We know Kevin Dotson is making a potential return. It sounds like he can play this week. But I think that the Rams are being just a little bit coy, just a little bit on Kevin Dotson. But I think that his return is going to be absolutely massive for this Rams offense, and I think that that's going to change a lot of things. I think that the whole machine will operate just a little bit better when one of the best offensive linemen in the entire NFL is back out on the football field. Kind of interesting. They've got our former guy playing in that same position, but he didn't work out for us. So, I mean, I feel like we've seen that comment a few times. So like, well, we should have kept Jonah Jackson. He's killing it for Chicago. And it's like, yeah, but he was here and was doing poorly. So, hey, if somebody can go somewhere else and play better than they would have here, then I guess have at it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, not a lot of news to get into. But I do want to talk about the playoff picture. We'll talk about the NFC for starters, and mainly the NFC, because we only got 3 more NFC football games to go, man. 3 more NFC football games to go. Potentially only 3 more games for the Rams to go. Hopefully, 3 more games for the Rams to go. We hope it's not 1 or 2. And we hopefully on the good eye into the last one, you know what I mean? But either way, the playoff picture right now, as it is on your screen, the Eagles, the Packers, and the Panthers leaving the field. They'll be watching like you and I from home, while the 49ers, Bears, and the Rams move on to join the Seattle Seahawks in the divisional round. And as far as the slate of action goes, in the AFC playoff picture, it doesn't seem like, I don't know, those are really good games for sure. And I would say, like, for both of those matchups, the Bills at the Broncos and the Texans at the Patriots, I'm having a really hard time picking both of those games. I know who I want for our game. Obviously, I have that pick solidified. That's been in. And then the other game that features 2 NFC West teams, I feel decent about that one. But I want to talk about these AFC games. We'll kind of just go through it as far as when kickoff is happening. So very first game of the weekend is going to be the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. That game just up the road from me. Should be some decent action here. I actually think the Bills win this game, though. I think at the Broncos, they're one of those teams where it's like, are they a one? I've heard people call them the weakest one seed we've ever seen, and that may or may not be true. But I think that the Buffalo Bills and what they were able to do last week, I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars were gonna come out with that one. I picked the Jags, and there's just something about the Buffalo Bills and their energy this year that seems very. Josh Allen just doesn't feel like he's going to lose. And is Bo Nix going to be that guy? I'm not really sure. I guess we're about to find out. So that's the best part about watching the playoffs is who is that guy? And for last week, it was who's going to be the next, decent quarterback in the NFC North? Who's going to be the one that kind of takes that over? Is it going to be Jordan Love or is it going to be Caleb Williams? And Caleb Williams made the plays. Jordan Love didn't. So we now have some evidence to look back at, to look at that division and say, I think Caleb might be the best quarterback in that division. I think that's totally reasonable. For the next game, 49ers at the Seahawks on Saturday night. I really just think that I talked about it on Tuna and the Sheriff, where the 49ers feel like Will Ferrell's character in Austin Powers, where he gets, the chair, dumps him into the fire, and then he's still alive, and then like somebody comes down there and shoots him, and he's still like all that stuff. He's like, I'm very badly burned down here. That's what the 49ers feel like to me this year. Is they just keep getting, it's like, why won't you die? Like, whoa, what do we need to do to kill you? Is kind of the energy that I've got. So I think it will catch up to them. I think that's a real thing. And no one's ever carried or touched the football more times than Christian McCaffrey. I mean, when's that going to catch up to him? It was supposed to already. Did they have an immortal chamber that they're putting him in there sneakily? I don't know. But, Brock is getting done. CMC's getting done. But they are just running out of dudes. Fred Warner may come back if they do win this game, but I do think that the Seattle Seahawks take this one. And following game, Rams-Bears, I do think that we can play the Seattle Seahawks next week. I think that that's reasonable. All right. But we'll get into that full game preview here shortly. And then the final game of the weekend It put the Rams ahead because I favored them. Anyway, the early game on Sunday is going to be the Texans at the Patriots. That Texans defense is absolutely no joke. One of the best in the league, if not the, and that Chargers defense isn't bad either. And let's call it what it is, man. The Patriots offense wasn't really moving the football that much. Not that well, at least against the Chargers team. I kind of expected more, I'll be honest, but we'll see what the Texans are able to do. Does defense win championships? Texans are looking pretty dang good, if that is surely the case. But that's where we're sitting for our picks. So I'm going Bills, Seahawks, Rams. I didn't even give a pick for that one. That's hilarious. I just talked about it a little bit. Give me Houston, dude. That defense is insane. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I can't take it back now. All right. But you know what? No messing around, man. I know this. We want to get into the game preview. I'm kind of trying to hold you, I'm trying to build that tension just a little bit, but I think it's time to break that, man. We'll take a quick break here, and on the other side, Rams at the Chicago Bears, the frozen tundra. That game preview right here on Ram Showcase. Welcome back in. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This is Ram Showcase. The 5-seed Los Angeles Rams taking on the 2-seed Chicago Bears. This game kicks off at Soldier Field at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. This game will be broadcast on NBC. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth on the call. And from the sideline, who do we usually have on the sideline? Is it Pam on the sideline for Chris and Mike? I don't know why I didn't write it down. It's usually here, man. But also the ref for this game, we get Sean Hockley, and I feel like he's called our games very even. I didn't fully dive into our records with him, but I do remember plenty of games with him where it has felt pretty even. We've had a few groupings that have been rather harsh on the Rams, but now we're in the playoffs too, where they kind of get broken up. So this is not the regular crews that are all working together, but Sean Hockley, son of the absolutely jacked Ed, will be taking care of this one for you. Bettors, Rams are -3.5, -205 on the money line, and 48.5 on the over-under. So that means the books are putting this game roughly 27-23 in favor of the Rams. The money line of -205 is the second best odds of the weekend, behind only Seattle, who is -350 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, no distribution map. We are in the playoffs, nationally televised all the time. Butts, pants, picks. Yes, we are here with pants picks. I don't have picks because we don't even know what jerseys we're wearing. I'm sure it's white. That's, we had a mix up last week, by the way. They told us on Thursday that we were going to be wearing a white jersey with yellow pants, the Soul pants. And then on the app, they said Royal pants. And then it was Royal pants. So I didn't know what to believe for a little while. I was just stuck in a weird pants purgatory where we had no clue what was going on. But on your screen, I went last place. I did terrible job picking pants. We're gonna add socks next year too, so it's gonna be an absolute blast. But not killer this time around. But the ultimate champion though is Rams House. Rams House. He knows how to pick some pants, dude. He knows how to pick some pants, and you know what? Because Rams House is the pants picks champion and knows how to pick some pants. We got an award for you, man. We got a prize. All right. I got this. I was trying to find Old Navy gift card. Instead, I just went with Walmart because that's what they had. And I've got a Walmart gift card here for you for $15 so that you can go buy your own pair of pants. That's what you get for Pants Pick Champion. You got to go get some pants. And you have to prove that you actually did buy pants. I want photographic evidence out of the checkout line. Make the clerk hold them up or something. All right, I want to see that. But go pick some pants for you because you did such a great job picking some pants for the Rams all season, dude. That's all you. Reach out to me if so that you can give me address. I can shoot that off to you. Or if you just want to meet up, dude, we live in the same city. We can just meet up and I can do that too. I've got some other stuff for you too, dude. I think you know what I'm talking about. But Rams House, the pants pick champion. Nobody picks pants like Rams House. I don't make the rules. Let's take a look at the history of this matchup. This is the 98th all-time meeting between these two. The Bears lead the all-time series 55-39 and 3. 3 ties against the Bears is crazy. The only other team that we've tied with that many times is the 49ers, and we played them 1 billion times. So I found that stat rather interesting. This is the third playoff game for the Rams against the Bears. 1950, the Rams won that game 24-14, and then 1986. I don't know if you remember those Bears teams. They were decent. That was a 24-0 win by the Bears. The first ever game between these two, though. This series goes all the way back. 1937 on October 10th. That was a 20-2 win by the Bears. This was the Rams' 5th game ever all time. And that was also 1 week after playing the Chicago Cardinals. So a couple of Chicagos coming over to Cleveland to take on our Rams. And then the Rams and Bears also played the final game of that season. When there was not a lot of teams, you played everybody a bunch. So there is that. The most recent game between these two came September 29th of 2024. So it's been a bit, but it was only last season, 24-18 by the Bears. That was in Chicago. Unfortunate. So got to turn that around for sure. The Rams have only won in Chicago. Actually, like I said, this is 98th all-time meeting. This goes back to 1937. The Rams have only won in Chicago 14 times ever. Looking for number 15 in a pretty big one, I would say. But that's pretty crazy. And the Rams' most recent win in Chicago was actually 2003, which feels like not a real year. That feels like it was like made up, man. In the last 4 games, the Rams have played in Chicago. They're actually averaging just 9.7 points per game. And Bears, obviously, much more than that. Rams have won 3 of the last 5 against the Chicago Bears, which is sweet. But all those wins, of course, coming at home, meaning that Sean McVay, since he has become the Rams head coach, has yet to win in Chicago. He is 0-2, looking to push that a little bit further into an even direction. And then we'll worry about other matchups later. I think, do we? I'd have to look. I already forgot our next opponents, the divisions of it. But no, I lied. We get the same place finisher for the NFC North. So that means we get the Packers next year. So we don't get the Bears. Could have been cool, though. As far as a lot of the stuff that we're looking for in this game, on the Rams side, it is a finish is my word of the day. It's just finish the game. You gotta wrap these guys up. You gotta close them out because they are competitors and they do not quit until the final, until refs are like, hey, the game, go to the locker room. It's over. Like they're still trying to fight you. You know, they're still trying to score points on you. The best metaphor that I feel like I've come up with so far is like when your foot is on their throats, they're still punching you on the calf. You know what I mean? Like they just don't quit, man. So you really got to just really give it to them, man. You give them the business a little bit and just make sure that they don't come back on you, which is kind of interesting how this game has kind of unfolded as far as that storyline goes, because the Bears are a team that seem to be able to close it out at the very end, almost seemingly no matter what. And 7 games that they've won when they were down under 2 minutes to go in the fourth. I mean, that's an NFL record. That's absolutely insane. Where on the Rams side, feels like all year we've been talking about just close it out, and seems like we've allowed people to come back into games against us. And we've had opposite, feelings on that, in Atlanta and stuff like that. We were able to kind of come back. We still lost that game, but we're able to make it tight after they were kind of beating us up a little bit. But I'm thinking Philadelphia feels like a different season. It was so long ago, but there was some more, oh man, I'm trying to think. Yeah. But either way, closing people out has been the tough part for the Rams. So finishing this game is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, the Rams were able to finish it out against the Panthers in a 3-point win, but do we forget how strong we started in that game? Puka Nacua is just looking like an absolute superhero. So he was awake. That's all that means. But so he's looking absolutely incredible out here, scoring all these touchdowns, yelling to everybody that he lifts weights for sure. And we could tell, Puka, you didn't need to tell it. We could see it, man. We could see that you lift weights. Visual evidence, man. You're making grown men look silly out here, dude. Obviously you lift weights. But either way, he's coming off. He starts off so strong, and then the Rams still needed to get a last-minute drive to close that game out. And again, I just think the Panthers kind of match up well with us, but that's exactly the point, is that even as recent as last week, we jumped out on them, and then we're sitting at a 3-point lead at half, and it's like, okay, hold on. Hold on, and then 3 and out at a halftime, and then they have a long drive, and it's like, hold on a second, man. So Chicago is absolutely a team that can do those kinds of things to you. So closing this game out and finishing this game, no matter what the score is, pretend it's 0-0 still, or pretend you're down. I mean, if you have to pretend like you're down in this game by 10 points or something like that, just so that you get that energy going, block off the scoreboard, man. Don't even show us. Like, just keep playing. Just keep scoring, because they are going to try to get you in every single capacity that they possibly can. So you absolutely have to finish that. So, and this is also as far as you got last year. Rams lose this game, then it's very much, well, dang it, because this is where we got last year. If you lose in the divisional round again, then it does have to, you do kind of got to zoom out just a little bit and kind of say like, okay, what are we doing here? What are we missing? And we didn't expect this to be the Bears in this spot, in fairness, but they're having a killer year. Absolutely having a killer year. You don't get to the divisional round on accident. You don't stumble around and wake up in the divisional round and go, I don't even know why we're here. That's not a real thing. So for the Rams to move past this game and to make it even to the NFC Championship game feels like it has to happen for this season to feel like a success. And that's crazy to think that we spent so many years being so bad, where in any capacity, it just felt like if we could be even in conversations for playoffs when the season's coming to a close, that feels pretty dang good. And now we're sitting at a spot where it's like, NFC Championship is minimum requirement. And realistically, let's go for a Super Bowl. But also, it's not just the energy of that. It is the fact that this team is one of those that can absolutely put it together and go all the way. We're on the road, stuff like that, and there's really good teams still playing football, but we're absolutely one of those. As much as any Rams fan could be worried about any other team and facing them, every other team should also be looking at the Rams and be like, well, I don't really want to play them, but I mean, you should also feel confidence, but also respecting your opponent. It's, yeah, that I mean, I feel like Sean McVay talks about that a lot, just kind of respecting your opponent and not just, going too nuts on them and just feeling too good about yourself. You should feel good about yourself, but not to the point where it kind of hinders you against a team like the Chicago Bears, who are playing on house money now. They got nothing to lose. They're going to go for it. Why not? Why not just shoot for it, man? Because you already, you lose this game and you can already, your fans are already like, well, that was pretty sick though. We're champs of the North. We're crushing souls. It's awesome. So they're probably going to be playing pretty loose. Whereas the Rams' perspective, it is very much like, if we don't win this game, it feels like a failure. And that's rough, man. That's a tough spot to be in. But on the Bears side, like I said, 7 times this year that they've won with being down with under 2 minutes to go at some point in that. And that's absolutely just absurd. They're just never really out of it. Feisty feels like the perfect word for them. They're just always competing to the very, very, very end, which is exactly what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I've said that before. There's been times, there's been full seasons where I'm like, why do I care more than you guys? This is crazy, but feels like the Bears are in that spot right now. A lot of magic is happening right now for them. A lot of energy coming in there. But one thing I did want to mention too is the post game locker room aspect of it. And I've talked about this in other settings as well. But the celebration, the obnoxiousness, the energy that went into the Bears locker room speech with Ben Johnson. First of all, I think it's awesome. All right. I hated it at first. I was like, this is ridiculous. We're adults. But then it was like, oh yeah, we're adults. You can just do this. It's fine. And actually it's awesome because this is a game and we're here to just be entertained, I think ultimately, right? And that was entertaining as hell. So Ben Johnson, I'm here for it. But then you look at that, you see them screaming obscenities about their rivals and stuff. And then you look at the Rams, and even in the Sounds of the Game video that was released, I mean, Puka's not even off the field yet, and they're filming him, and he's like, next week, let's keep working. Like, we got it. It's ready to go next week. And that's all it is. And then you look at the locker room, and obviously they're chanting MVP and stuff like that because the M in MVP does stand for Matthew, but they're kind of chanting all that stuff and all that. But then it like quickly is like, hey, we got a game next week. Let's keep working. All right. This is like, you got to earn the right. I love that line that they're using throughout the playoffs is earn the right. And they're absolutely right. I mean, that's earn the right to talk trash to one of your division rivals next week, because one of them's going on. There's NFC West will be represented in the NFC Championship at minimum 50% capacity. We'll see, but minimum 50% capacity. But it did feel like a little bit of finality in the celebration of the Bears. And I kind of relate it to the Rams NFC Championship game win over the New Orleans Saints, where I don't know about you, but I know from myself and my own perspective, I was sitting here thinking like, oh man, Rams are in the Super Bowl. We did it. We're in the Super Bowl. We did it. And then the Super Bowl went terrible. And I don't necessarily, know if that was the energy that was in the locker room, if that was, something that was embedded into the team culture at that moment. But if that's a real thing, then the Bears are in a spot where that's a little dicey, is all I'm saying. Rams felt very much like, all right, we got a game next week. Let's keep working. While the Bears felt very, hey, we did it. We beat the Packers, dude. We're kings of the North, and we knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. Yo, what up? And then that's just not, I don't feel like that's the right energy to continue on. But also, who knows? A week can happen. You're sitting in meeting rooms and stuff like that, and that kind of stuff can get nailed down with the right coaching staff. And the Bears, no joke, phenomenal coaching staff. So there is that. Let's take a look at some milestones here, and these are all actually, I'm only looking at 2 players here, and these are all playoff-related milestones. For quarterback Matthew Stafford, he does need 326 passing yards to tie Steve Young, 19th most all-time in NFL playoff history. He also needs 1 passing touchdown to tie Troy Aikman for 18th all-time in postseason passing touchdowns. Pretty sweet stuff there. Davante Adams, this is only going to be his 2nd postseason game as a member of the Rams, but he needs 8 receptions to tie Andre Reed, 10th all-time. That's crazy. 8 receptions. That's totally realistic. He also needs 10 receiving yards to tie Julio Jones, 18th most all-time. 10 yards. Totally reasonable. In fairness, though, he did have a stat line where he had 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. So I guess nothing is guaranteed, but he's a pretty good player. I don't know if you've heard of him. But with a 100-yard game, he would actually jump to 14th over Jones, Steve Smith, John Stallworth, Anquan Bolden, and Art Monk. With a 100-yard game, he jumps all those guys in postseason receiving yards history in the NFL. He needs 1 receiving touchdown to tie 4 others in 10th, so he could be a top 10 wide receiver in scoring touchdowns just with 1. But he gets 2. He's actually tied for 5th with 5 other players, which is awesome. So Davante Adams, Matthew Stafford, feels like that could be a good connection for this game. Obviously, there's some other weapons out there, but Davante Adams, the game he had last week was not necessarily a bad game, but it did feel like it was not to the capacity as we anticipate Davante Adams playing at. So I'm hoping that in this one, in maybe a little bit of a more familiar place, I don't know how many stadiums he's played at, maybe all of them by now, but maybe in a little bit more familiar place that that he's been at plenty of times. Same with Stafford. They can go in and just kind of have a certain level of comfort for him. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Take a look at former Rams who are on the Bears. As far as the coaching staff goes, defensive back coach Al Harris. He was a player for the St. Louis Rams for just a short time. I remember signing Al Harris and being like, yo, it's over for you guys, man. This is awesome. And then he was just, it was like 08 or something. So it was like, it wasn't over for it. It was over for us, I think. It's the ultimate. It's okay, though. Al Harris is an awesome coach, awesome guy. No complaints or negative things to say about Al Harris for sure. As far as players go, right guard, Jonah Jackson holding it down. We tried to put him at center. We tried to put him at left guard. We tried to just a mess of stuff, and it wasn't working out. Jonah Jackson, though, getting it done in Chicago. We're rooting for his success, just not this week. Quarterback, Case Keenum. Man, this guy's been everywhere, right? I almost feel like he's on every roster, just cause, I feel like if you look at all the depth charts all the way across the the NFL, Case Keenum's probably third string quarterback on like 7 teams right now. It just feels like a real thing. Kicker Cairo Santos has been absolutely on fire. He played for the Rams for a short time. I want to say 2018. That sounds right, that he played for the Rams in 2018 due to injury for Zurline for just a bit. And then defensive lineman Daniel Hardy. I didn't actually realize that he was on the Chicago Bears. I was looking at the roster and some stats, and it's like, is that the Daniel Hardy? And it turns out it is. Incredible fro, one of the best. I think Desjuan Johnson's fro maybe beats it, but fro off, dude? Are we about to have a fro off? That's pretty sick, actually. Pretty sick stuff. Let's go ahead and dive into the matchup here. We're looking at the Rams offense going against that Bears defense. Rams are rocking with the number 2 offense in the league, putting up over 400 yards a game, while the Bears defense is 27th in total yards, passing the rock first units for the Rams, going against the 22nd ranked defense for the Bears. You also got the 7th ranked rushing unit for the Rams offense, 27th for that Bears defense. Points being put up, 30.5 for the Rams. That's absolutely incredible. More points than anybody this year. And the Bears give up about 24.5. That's 23rd. Third down, Rams almost doing 40. That's about middle of the road there. And the Bears give up a little over 40. That's 22nd in the NFL. So one thing about the Bears and the numbers, obviously, these are regular season numbers. They don't include last week. But one thing that kind of jumps out to you is it is, I think the ultimate way to describe the Bears defense is feast or famine. These guys can turn the ball over in bunches, and they can ruin your day. Or you can just torch them and just go off. It's not that I think that Jordan Love is necessarily a bad quarterback. I don't believe that. But I do think that Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback. And if Jordan Love can do what he did to the Bears last week with, able to score some touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, I think he did a very good job. I think that Matthew Stafford is in a position to be able to do that. And I think the most, it's not even an underrated thing about this matchup, but it is something that I think is so critical in this game is the no looks for Matthew Stafford. You have some very aggressive corners who love to jump routes into unbelievable talents at wide receiver in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I've been calling my shot all week. I'm going to call it the rest of the week as well, that I think that there's going to be a play where Matthew Stafford is just staring somebody in the soul. Either that's Puka or Devontae, and he's just going to do one of these or just throw it behind him or something, dude. He's unbelievable, man. He's the Steve Nash of passing in the NFL. But I feel that. I feel like there's going to be somebody over here, and he's just going to be like whipping it over here to like Mump or Ferguson across the middle for a touchdown. I feel like it's going to be somebody that we don't maybe fully anticipate having a huge day. But again, when you have Puka and Devontae, a lot of eyeballs are going to those guys. And again, you have an extremely aggressive defense. It's basically if you took Janoris Jenkins and Darian Kendrick and just multiplied them by 7 and just put 7 of those guys out there, that's kind of what you're dealing with the Bears defense. They can be so good. You can also torch them. That's it. Opposing players we're keeping our eyes on. I'm going to start with safety Kevin Byard. First team All-Pro, Pro Bowl selection. Absolutely phenomenal season. I didn't write it down here, but I want to say that he had 7 interceptions on the year, which is absolutely phenomenal. Kevin Byard, though, he's all over the place. I mean, first team All-Pro, you don't stumble into that on accident. He is a Pro Bowler. It's just one of those seasons, man. It's just absolutely phenomenal player. Phenomenal talent. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too positive here on the Bears, but I mean, Kevin Byard's one of those guys that if I had to pick one player from the Bears to bring over here, I'd be like, maybe that guy. Maybe bring over Byard. Next up, we're going to go with defensive lineman Montez Sweat. He's got 10 sacks on the year. His stats didn't necessarily explode last week, but did get a game ball, though. I think that Ben Johnson kind of acknowledged the fact that he was just all in the backfield the whole day. Even though the pressures weren't translating to sacks, he was still impacting the game the bulk of the time. And you're dealing with a team here in the Chicago Bears that have not necessarily had the strongest pass rush, but really good players like Montez Sweat who can absolutely ruin your day and shake it up for you. And we've got, I mean, maybe the fastest quarterback in the NFL in Matthew Stafford, but still, I mean, when pockets collapse, And then next up, we'll go with cornerback Nashawn Wright. He's got 5 picks on the year. He's just one of those guys too that I feel watching him play does feel like watching Janoris Jenkins back in the St. Louis days, like 2012-ish and stuff like that. But he's one of those. He is aggressive. He's a fighter. He likes to jump around. That's going to be the scariest thing is if maybe there's a no look going the wrong way and they kind of catch on to it and are able to jump something that way. But Wright is one of those guys he's going to be on Devontae. He's going to be on Puka. He's probably going to get reps against, we'll do 13 personnel with Konate Mumpfield out there. So he's going to get his action against a lot of different guys. And I'm curious to see where in the game that it kind of settles in on like, who is he really doing a good job against? And is he going to start traveling? I don't know if they really travel. I haven't watched as many Bears games. I've just been studying them this week. We didn't play them this year, so it's harder when we didn't play somebody. But this secondary, and Wright is just one of those guys that can absolutely, he can ruin your drive for sure, ruin your day. You can ruin a lot of things. On the Rams side here, we're going to start with Kevin Dotson. The return of K-Dot cannot come too soon. I really hope it does happen. He was projecting as a limited participant in the Wednesday practice. It was a bit of a walkthrough day, so it's hard to nail down that. But the Rams do a good job of saying like, well, if we would have been full practice, we would have been limited. So we know that he was. Justin Dedich, definitely not a bad player, but he's a backup who is still developing. And I've got nothing bad to say about Justin, but he is a backup. That's it. I mean, when Kevin Dotson goes out and you need your backup player, it's not unreasonable to assume that you may lose a little bit of production there. And in fact, if you get better, then maybe you have the wrong starter. So it's reasonable and totally fair that when your starter goes out and you have to put a backup in, that the production level does drop. And Kevin Dotson's also been playing like one of the best inside offensive linemen of the entire NFL this year. So missing him, no matter what capacity that happens to be, is a hit. I don't care if you have, I'm going to forget every quarterback ever now. I don't care if you have, we'll just go Drew Brees as your backup quarterback. When Peyton Manning goes out, you'll notice a difference. All right. It's going to get a little bit worse. Is it still good? Yeah, it is. It's not Peyton though. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I feel good about it. Next up, Konate Mumpfield. Mump had a very critical catch last week on that final drive to keep that thing alive. I love that too, that on the sideline you hear in the sounds of the game that people like Puka are like, dude, you were called and you did it. Like, that's awesome, man. Like, so I like that little bit of motivation in there of like, yeah, dude, you're one of these guys. Just because you're a rookie doesn't mean we don't trust you to catch some footballs. You're a football player. That's what you do. So yeah, man, go make some plays out there and just go have fun. It is ultimately just a game, man. Go have some fun, catch some footballs, make some first downs, do some of those and stuff, man. Just go have a blast. But the Bears defense riddled with playmakers who want to jump routes. And again, I think that it's going to be somebody like Mump who gets one of those no looks, like you know, it's and that's my shot call of the weekend is that I think that Mump is going to have a touchdown in this game that is just like the biggest touchdown for his career so far. Has he scored domestically yet, or is it just London still? I think it was just London still. He needs a domestic touchdown. Domestic touchdown. Is that going to be our band name? Probably. And last year, we'll go with Tyler Higbee. Colby saved the day last week. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. The setup of that play, the shots that the Rams social team was able to capture of that play, but just the way that Matthew Stafford kind of like gave a pump like he's going Puka all day. And then that safety comes up, and then as soon, boom, you'll pop that hip, and boom, ball's out, and Colby Parkinson makes an absolutely phenomenal play. And obviously, Rams were able to win. But Higgs, he's been back for a few weeks now, and he is our top dog in that tight end room. We've got 4 incredible tight ends, though. I feel like everybody, whenever they talk about the Rams tight ends, they're like, they've got 3 really good guys. They've got Tyler Higbee, Terrence Ferguson, Colby Parkinson. It's like, yo, the general, dude. Give me Davis Allen in there. You can't add me Davis Allen. He is killing it all year, man. So I think that we should say 4. But either way, Higbee, like I said, is the clear-cut top leader of that grouping. He's just one of those guys, too, that he can be a hero at any moment. At any given time, he can just be the hero of your team. And it feels like this could be one of those games. It's the playoffs, man. It may be necessary to need a hero. Sometimes you need a hero. Sometimes that's Tyler Higbee. Sometimes Tyler Higbee doesn't play in your previous Super Bowl run. And so I'm hoping that Tyler Higbee shows up big time in these because Kendall Blanton was getting done, but we all kind of know and understand that Tyler Higbee's that guy. Has been. Long time. Let's flip over to the other side. Oh, actually, we'll give my key here for the Rams offense. I think that my biggest key here, obviously the weather is going to be a big impact. I'm not trying to hammer that because I feel like everybody's hammering it. If y'all haven't heard, it's going to be chilly, okay? That's the biggest story ever. No one cares about the football players anymore. It's just going to be cold, so that's it. That's the only story. It's cold in Chicago in January, but I think that ultimately, I mean, it will have an impact, and I think that ultimately what I want to see from the Rams is just getting to third short and converting, and then Matthew Stafford just not making mistakes. I mean, he had that pretty bad interception last week against the Carolina Panthers, but dude, Mike Jackson's turning into a superstar, so there is also that part. But mistake-free football obviously is going to be huge, but I think it is going to be just that make sure you're not just blowing it, you know? Don't give them short fields because they've got a good offense too. They've got a good quarterback who can also, dare I say, snatch some souls. I think he did it last week. So I think that we've got the ultimate soul snatcher. Dude, souls are up for grabs in Chicago this weekend. Who's getting snatched, man? I don't know. So I think that is going to be a big key, but I think that ultimately when you have the weather conversation and stuff like that, well, we've got a Notre Dame and a Michigan running back pounding the rock. So, I mean, I think we'll be okay. These are also football players, and football has been a cold weather sport for basically its entire existence. So I think it'll be okay. But again, Chicago, hard place to play. Weather sucks. It's chilly. Hurts your hands to catch footballs that are hard, stuff like that. Tackling hurts a little bit more and stuff, but they got to deal with it too. As a person who lives in Colorado, I can tell you that just because I live in Colorado doesn't mean I'm just immune to cold. There's like snow doesn't just like almost hit me and then go this way. You know what I mean? Like they got to play too. Just because their proximity of their house to the stadium is closer than ours doesn't mean that they just don't feel the cold. That makes no sense. So yes, weather is a thing. I'm trying not to hammer that because that's, in my opinion, a bit of a lazy storyline, but so be it. It's playoff football, dude. Just deal with the cold and move on. What are you doing? That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Let's flip over to the other side here. We'll go to the Rams defense going against that Bears offense. The Bears offense, really solid unit, 6 overall, going against the middle of the road defense in the Rams at 16th, passing the rock, 10th ranked unit for Caleb Williams and that offense, while the Rams 19th here. We kind of slipped down as the season kind of went on there. Not necessarily, climbing to top 5s or anything like that, but definitely slipped down there a bit. Rushing the ball. This is where the Bears can absolutely do some damage, as they are the 3rd best running team in the NFL this season, and the Rams 12th against the run. Actually, that did increase as the season went on as well. Average points being put up almost 30 for that Bears offense. That's 9th, and the Rams give up over 20. That is 10th. 42.7 on third down. That's 7th in the league, and the Rams give up 36.3 and tied for 7th. So obviously what we're looking at as far as the Bears offense goes, they've got their two-headed running back monster in Swift and Monangai, two absolutely phenomenal players, obviously. So Monangai being a bit of that almost Rams-ish kind of vibe as far as like the draft pick goes. He's a rookie out of I think is the 5th round and does absolutely phenomenal. So it's got some Rams energy to it as far as just being able to sneak up some sweet late round picks. But obviously this Bears offense, I think that they're just efficient and just they're not overly flashy. They did some flashy things last week. Caleb Williams hitting that ball also though. I'll mention this. I think Keyshawn Nixon played that terribly. I think if you watch that from the quarterback perspective and you watch Nixon and how he tried to undercut that route and then the ball went over him, it's like, bro, you're staring at the football the whole time while you take the wrong path to it, man. Go to the ball. What are you doing? Anyway, but also incredible throw. And I don't want to take that away from Caleb, but that was an absolutely phenomenal pass in the middle of 3 guys. So one of them played it terribly. 2 others were trying their hardest to get over there and make a play, and the ball was just put in the exact right spot. So they can run the football. The Rams are good against the run, but haven't necessarily smothered people against the run. But I would say over the last 2 or 3 games have done a really good job against the run. The secondary is a bit of the concern as far as the Rams. It seems like they're able to get beat, and the way that they're getting beat is what's the concern. It's corners that are kind of making a move and then trying to recover because that guy's already past them. And that's kind of a weird thing, especially from guys like Emmanuel Forbes, Quentin Lake, that we've seen some just weird little angles and transitions. The turning and stuff like that just seems a little bit slower over the last few weeks. I'm not sure why that would be the case. Maybe there's something going on coaching or something there that they're kind of trying to shift some things, but either way, we have the talent to do some damage in the secondary, some really good players, but ultimately the Bears too are so balanced that it does make it very difficult to kind of pinpoint who you want to take away. And as far as the opposing players that we're keeping our eyes on, I'm going to start with Caleb Williams. Caleb is a guy that I feel like I've always been a little bit, critical of. And I think that this season is one of those where I'm kind of rethinking my own opinions about him. And my opinions are always fluid. As long as I get as long as I have access to new information, I'm always willing to kind of change my mind on stuff. I think that that's totally reasonable. Caleb Williams is one of those guys where as I watch this season, it's like, yo, is he sick actually? And so I'm very much, in that kind of spot. And I mean, I'm not just going to like blindly be like, nope, he's terrible just because I didn't like him coming out of college. That's not going to be the way it is, but he seems to always make the play when he needs it. He seems to have that kind of just, oh, you need a pass? Okay, here's one, but we've got a guy like that too. It's just crazy to see it from somebody else, especially from Caleb Williams, who I just didn't trust coming into the season, but he's doing phenomenal this year. He had that unbelievable toss against the Packers off balance. I'm not sure if he was on the ground or not for that, but that's one of those balls that as it comes out of your hand, you're like, and then you see where it's at. You're like, wait, what? And that's crazy. I'm watching that with my Packers fan friend, and it's like, yo, that was absurd, man. That was absolutely absurd. And he didn't agree. Oh, well. And next up, I'll go with tight end Colston Loveland. So rookie tight end class was absolutely crazy. We got Warren, you got Loveland, you got Ferguson. I mean, those 3 alone could ultimately make this the best tight end class we've ever seen. And there were other players as well. But Loveland is absolutely doing phenomenal. He's looking incredible out the gate. His rookie season's been just so good, man. Last week, he kind of seemed to just take over that game. It seemed like he was like, you know what? I'm not losing, and just kind of went off on it. So it's good stuff. He's reliable. He's productive. I mean, there's really not a lot negative to say about Colston Loveland, honestly. He's potentially one of the better tight ends in the entire NFL, and he's, only exiting his rookie season. It's weird to call somebody a rookie in the playoffs because I feel like now you're in it, like, especially by this time, But Loveland, I can't explain why, but also I feel like he's damn near identical to Greg Olsen. just as I'm watching him play, in my brain, I can swap him out for Greg Olsen, and it makes perfect sense. I don't know if I'm alone on that or not. And last up here, we'll go with DeAndre Swift. 9 rushing touchdowns, over 1,000 yards on the season. He did add just under 300 through the air as well. 62 first downs on the year. That's just a reliable number right there, man. Reliable player, makes plays when he's called on, obviously. Monungai is a great RB2 that completes that combo, but Swift can do some damage, man. They didn't really go off last week against the Packers. It was just not necessarily a big run day, but I also think the Packers kind of were like, you're not running on us. Caleb wants to beat us, then so be it, but you're not running on us. And that didn't work, so I don't know. Maybe that's a different approach to take. I don't know. DeAndre Swift, though, I think that there's a lot of ways that he can burn you, for sure, but Monungai as well. So it doesn't get easier when Monungai goes out, but we've got that on our side as well. When Kyron Williams goes out, that's not break time. And now it's time to stop Blake, and that's hard too. So that's all it is. On the Rams side, our 3 to see here, we're going to start with Kobe Turner. Maybe not the explosion of stardom that we anticipated, or maybe didn't anticipate, but he's slowly becoming a household name. I figured out the show, by the way. It's The Masked Singer. Clunky show name. Kind of hate it, actually. But I think he was on that and did absolutely phenomenal. He was the big gooey guy or whatever. And so I think that like being on stuff like that, and then just the way he plays football and just the way he communicates, the way he interacts with the media, stuff like that, this guy's one of the top guys in the NFL. Maybe it's not, skill set wise, but as far as I hate to go like businessy on it, but like as like a marketable player, Kobe Turner might be one of our best as far as the Rams go, with the personality, the skill set, the motivation, the other talents like music and stuff like that. And he's just such a funny, cool guy. It's like, it's so easy to have a guy like that on your team and to want to support and build around him. He's just an incredible human being, and hear it from the Rams a bunch. Great players, or great people make great players. And I think that Kobe Turner is just the absolute personification of that, of like, look at him. He's a great person and phenomenal player. And he can sing. He does national anthems at Kings games and stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable. But when it comes to actually on the football field, he just seems like he's just got a command out there that just, it's not Aaron Donald, okay? And I hate to even bring up the name Aaron Donald in this sense, because, well, we all miss him, but it's not that kind of energy where it's just like, you need a play, look for him. But it's more of like when we need just some energy on the defense, that's who you look to. It's like he's the one that's like sitting there. It's like, we got this, guys, and that's the kind of energy that he brings to the table. Whereas an Aaron Donald was just like, y'all do whatever you want. I'm stopping this play, So it's a little bit different. But Kobe Turner, phenomenal human being and one of the best. I've got his signed jersey. That's one of the it's becoming one of my more prized possessions. And the sign that he did. He signed this flag up here. It's hard to see, especially in the blue there, because it's in the middle of the, it's like the under the horn of it. But he drew the treble clef with his autograph when I got it signed in Denver, and that's just like, I just love that stuff. It's super wholesome. I saw that and I was like, yo, most wholesome autograph I've ever gotten. That's awesome. And on a football field, he will destroy your life. So there's also that. Linebacker Nate Landman, bit of a two-headed monster for the Bears running back room. And in a chilly game, obviously, that's going to be something that is hammered in this one. As far as the run games, you would anticipate that they're going to at least try to establish that run game decently early. But Nate Landman, also Puna Ford, we always kind of tag those two together, that they were brought in here to help the Rams' run defense. And, well, these are the kind of games that you need a good run defense for. And, in fact, just a year ago, divisional round in a cold place against a crazy fan base that the Rams were not able to stop the run. And we can say what we want about that final drive and Jalen Carter getting past Bo Limmer and causing those 2 last incompletions on the season. But ultimately, too, I kind of look at that game and say that Saquon run is really what got us. That was the moment there where it was like, that's tough, man. Like, we had him where we wanted him, and then Saquon breaks off that big run. He's hitting himself in the head. I don't know what that was all about, but either way, it did work, apparently. Next up here, we'll go with Quentin Lake, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, obviously incredible tight end duo. Must feel lame to only have a cool tight end duo. We got the quad out here, man, the tight end quad. But either way, those guys absolutely phenomenal players. Lake is going to be responsible for a good chunk of the middle of the field. Was able to, I think, shake off some rust last week, hopefully, and then this week we'll be able to kind of put a little bit more of the clamps down. I want to see some of these. You know what I mean? Like I need to see a lot of these. I don't know why they go this way, because if it's a seatbelt, that's the passenger seat. Wouldn't you want to? Whatever. But either way, I think that a matchup with Lake and Loveland really could be the decider of this game. That could be one of those things where the ball's thrown to Loveland, covered by Lake, and whatever happens, whether that play hits some gloves, whether those gloves are navy and orange or royal and soul, or just it hits the turf, I think could be ultimately the decider of this game. Just like that mump throw. I'm telling you. Place your bets. Place your bets. And the key for the Rams defense here is, I think it is get off the field here. When the Rams have lost the turnover battle, they've done a terrible job. This season has not worked out when you lose the turnover battle. And that's pretty standard, that if you can't win the turnover battle, that you're probably not going to do great. But I think that ultimately for the Rams, it just set up that Rams offense for shorter fields. If you can get, some early turnovers from Chicago and get Matthew Stafford the ball at their 30, then we're in business. It's going to be not only jumping out on them on the offensive side, but also just making sure that they don't roar back on you. No pun intended there, but that they don't, that they're not able to do that to you on the back end too. And that's going to be big on your defense. Don't get into a prevent kind of situation here, because that's bad news. Bad news bears. It all ties together. Now, what are you going to do? All right. Make sure you join us on Tuna and the Sheriff. As long as the Rams are playing football, we're going 5 days a week. That is 7 a.m. LA time, broadcast live on the First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Ram Showcase Facebook page. But there's a big old football game going on this weekend as the Chicago Bears hosting our Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round. We didn't think the Bears would be here, but they sure are. And now a bit of a treat for you, as I was able to talk to a dear friend, a friend of the show, friend of the Joe, Rishi Barron, who is a department head at Full Sail University. That's where I got my college degree. I certainly would not be the Sheriff Joe Bags that I am today without the guidance of Rishi Barron. He has done a phenomenal job in my life and kind of just kind of not even nudging me, but just maybe pointing me in some directions that's like, okay. Rishi Barron's absolutely phenomenal. One of the most hardcore Bears fans I know, an extremely knowledgeable fan as well. Lifelong Bears fan. He's very understandably super excited about this one, and we're hoping to crush those dreams. But I wanted to share with you my conversation that I had with Rishi Barron. So here it is. Yes, joining me, Rishi Barron, a lifelong Bears fan. And, I don't know if you really felt like you guys would be in the divisional round in 2025. I think the Rams fans, we expected to be here, but I'll say the opponent is surprising. It was Philadelphia last year, another cold weather team and setting for this one. But how are you feeling as the underdog coming in as the divisional round this year?
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that at all, Joe. I know how great your team is, and honestly, that the Rams are the team I thought would make it out of the NFC to the Super Bowl this year. And I know it hasn't been quite as pretty toward the end of the season, but I still think that you guys are the team in my mind to be in the NFC, even though you got to go on the road. Obviously, Seattle with home field advantage throughout, and the way their defense is played is challenging. But I feel great. I'm not concerned about it. I just, after beating the Packers last week, that was just such a breakthrough moment for our fan base. I've never seen the Bears win a Super Bowl. I've seen us go to a Super Bowl. So I was born before the run in 85, but I didn't watch games until slightly after that. So this is all kind of fun territory for me. And after beating the Packers like that last week, it's all house money from here on out. I think we got a shot against the Rams. I think the home field advantage is going to play in, and you can never count the Bears out. But if we end up getting beat by you, Joe, we will tip our cap to you and say, good luck the rest of the way. And we'll be very happy with how our season turned out.
I can confidently say that is also on the other side. If the Bears do pull out this win, it just kind of feels like the Rams in this season, it kind of just getting to this point was the minimum requirement. And from the Bears perspective, it's kind of interesting to see that. I don't know. I mean, I didn't pick the Bears to win that division or anything. I didn't have them as a playoff team, and not necessarily that I thought that they were a bad team. I just kind of felt like it would take Ben Johnson maybe a few more years to kind of build that culture up. So can you kind of explain like what really happened there with Ben Johnson? Like, was it really that big of an impact, or do you think that this is potentially a bit of a one-off season for the Bears?
No, I think this is the one time in my lifetime. Now, I'm not going to say I haven't felt this way before when we went to the Super Bowl back, 2005, 2006, around then. I thought we were going to be ready for a dynasty there, and that didn't happen. And then 2018 with Matt Nagy, his first year coach of the year, that was a really fun season. I thought that would be. So I'm not going to say I haven't felt this way before, but Ben Johnson just has a sustainability to him. He's just such a mastermind on offense. I know you can relate to that. His coaching staff is fantastic. Great hire with Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator, who's almost like kind of the defensive head coach per se. And then guys like Antoine Randall, Al Harris, really young offensive coordinator in Declan Doyle, so many other guys that have done it. JT Barrett, the quarterback's coach. I could go on and on and on about the coaching staff. But Johnson, I mean, there are a couple of really cool stories. I don't know if you caught them that came out over really the last 7 days. A couple of things that he has done. He has just, you mentioned the word culture, and that's exactly what he's done. He's instilled this culture of belief in winning. And obviously when you start winning games, it starts to hit home a little bit more. But he was hardcore from the beginning. He's been consistent in how he treats the players and his approach from day one. He made it challenging, but he let them know that he cared about them. And the two stories I was referring to is number one, he showed in training camp video to the Bears of the New England Patriots comeback in the Super Bowl 28-3 against the Falcons. And he has two players on the team that participated in that game, Joe Tuna on the winning side and Grady Jarrett on the losing side. And he showed that way back in training camp. And when they were down big against the Packers at halftime this past week, he referred to that speech at halftime and said, remember 28-3. And there's something about that, having that instilled. And one for this week for you too. This, I think, just came out today that Johnson, or some of the players I think may have mentioned this, I can't remember who, Johnson has been making the players practice outside in the cold with no heat for the entirety of when it's been cold in Chicago. So they didn't like it very much at first, but that's going to prepare them for our game on Sunday. So little things like that add up. And then that belief, once what he's doing started working, everybody bought in, and that's why we're here right now.
I mean, there's no argument there against it working, because I mean, the Bears have 7 wins where they were trailing at one point under 2 minutes to go.
NFL record.
That's
record.
That is absolutely absurd.
I know you've been through plenty of agonizing games, both on the winning end and a losing end as your time as a Rams fan. But can you imagine what the season's been like watching these games? It's not always fun, Joe. I mean, it's crazy what has happened in the season. Sometimes you almost have to think back like, oh, what was the 6th one? What was the 7th one? But the way that they've done it week in, week out, and what we really thought, a lot of people, I think, the people that cover the team and fans like me, I think we thought that at some point, this falling behind in these games, it's going to run out on you probably in the playoffs. And that's where we were last week. But you know what? It ain't done yet. And part of it is because they have that confidence that no matter what situation they're in, they have a chance. Now, I don't know, a winning formula against you on Sunday. I think really a really important thing would be to do what they haven't done much lately, and that's jump out to a lead and look great on the first couple of offensive series. If they can do that and get you guys thinking about the cold a little bit, I think that's the way they can win this game. They haven't run the ball as well as they had the last few weeks, but they certainly have the pieces in place to do it. The best game in my mind they played all year was against the Eagles at Philly, and they had a master game plan. They ran the ball down the Eagles' throats, much like you have. They had an excellent defensive line, and they made them look silly. So I'm hoping that's what we get on Sunday. I know that won't be easy, though.
Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, and to think about it too, from the Rams' perspective, going against a team who has been able to pull out late wins like that, is the Rams. A lot of our losses have been kind of failing to close it out at the very end. Philadelphia, we're up on them. I know that was a long time ago in September now, which feels like it might as well be a different season. But it seems like the Rams' issue this season has been closing teams out, while the Bears have done a very good job of staying in the games. And I kind of used the metaphor on one of my shows this week of like the Bears are that team that when your heel is on their throat, they're still punching you in the shin. Like they're still trying anything. Right? Like, and you have to wait until the game is absolutely over. So it's almost a perfect little clash here.
It should be fun. I think it will be.
Who's going to be able to are the Rams going to be able to push that down and keep the Bears? Like if they have a lead, then to kind of hold them back, or are the Bears going to be able to do what they've done most of the year and turn it around and come back on them, just like last week, which is a game I do want to talk about because I was sitting there with one of my best friends who's a massive Packers fan, and last day was just very uncomfortable.
Condolences.
My team had already won. I was already playing the next week, and I just watched him lose it, just crumble emotionally for being up 21-3. So thanks for that. That's fun. But I wanted to ask you about this, though, because I know that the Chicago Bears have had a long-standing rule about no cursing. Let's keep it classy. Let's keep it all, all under wraps and stuff. And that's out the window for sure. I want to ask you about the Ben Johnson locker room excitement and kind of your perspective on that as a longtime Bears fan. How did that come off to you as a Bears fan?
Well, when I first saw it, I watched it. I was up late after the game, and you always got to see the good, better, best video, Joe. If they win, you got to see what happens before you go to bed, right? So I was looking out for that, but they included that in it. And my first thought was, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. And at first I thought about it, how, the players responded to it in the video, and you knew that they would, right? Because I think one thing that's important for Ben Johnson going there, and this isn't anything new for Bears coach, they all kind of say it. Lovie Smith started his press conference saying, our goal is every year, our number one goal is to beat our rival Green Bay. And he did that a lot early on in his career. And now Ben Johnson is 2-1 against the Packers. And I think he really wants to stoke this rivalry to bring it back to what it was. It's not that anymore, or it hadn't been until this season, because frankly, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers crushed us for 20 years. So when that's the case, it's hard to kind of keep those juices going. I think Ben Johnson came in knowing that. I think that's why he mentioned Matt LaFleur in his opening press conference, that he liked to beat him twice a year, which he did do. It wasn't easy, but he did end up doing it. And I don't know if I would say that him saying that in the locker room was calculated, because he was pretty emotional at the time. But I do think that he has in his mind that I'm going to do everything I can to stoke this rivalry. And, they use some of that bulletin board material of the Packers saying they wanted to play them and stuff like that. And, Coach Heffley hitting the podium and saying, I'll be back next week. They used that. All the players talked about it after the game. But look, could he be better sportsman? Absolutely. He probably should be. The handshake was nothing to, ride home about either. But what I will say is I think he understands that the fans and the players, it is something that this rivalry, when they get juice like that, they're all about it, right? Not saying everybody agreed with it, but I think it is something that kind of unites this. Yeah, it's us against Green Bay, and we don't like them. They don't like us. Football's more fun that way.
I absolutely agree. I think it's fun. My initial reaction of it was very much a clutch the pearls kind of like, I was like, oh my goodness, I've not seen this. Like that's
no.
And I watch a lot of these locker room speeches from other teams, even when mine's involved. And it's like, oh my goodness, like that's kind of absurd. And then so my initial thought was like, this has no place, like that was my initial just off the jump. And then I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and it was like, you know what, this is good for football. I think it's good to get a little bit of animosity in there. And I think that ultimately at the end of the day, if there was any kind of real sit down or something like that, they would be cordial and fine. But I think that he wants to keep that rivalry alive. And if yelling that in the locker room at the end is what fires everybody up, then so be it.
And there's a picture that's gone around of Matt Eberflus, our former coach before Johnson, and he and Matt LaFleur sitting at, I think it was a Chicago Bulls game, sitting with each other, eating popcorn, having fun. And that just rubs people the wrong way. So I think that fire, stoking the rivalry is good. The thing that's really interesting to me is the two big questions about Ben Johnson coming into this year were, number one, can he be a leader of men? He had kind of this reputation of being not someone who was great at talking to the media. You know, you see him on the sideline during the games. Even this year, he just has that kind of blank face. But I tell you what, that's one of his greatest strengths is how he has united this team and led them. And the other big thing was, can he put together a coaching staff? And I don't know who's got a better coaching staff than us right now. It'll be interesting to see if any of those guys get plucked in the offseason.
Certainly interesting. And this is the time where for Bears fans, I'll let you guys know that when you're in the I'm just kidding. You gotta wait.
You kind of have to remind me. It's been a few years, Joe.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's like we don't know who's gonna get stolen from us yet. You know, we gotta wait until we're done playing football games. But
we're not used to that problem. We are not used to it.
Yeah, you get plucked right away, I guess, or not at all. Maybe I'm not sure how in demand the Bears staff has been over the last few years. But one thing that also, like when I was looking at that video of Ben Johnson and I had those initial thoughts and stuff, it also to me felt eerily similar as far as like emotions go to when the Rams beat the Saints in the NFC Championship game for the 2018 season. And how I relate that together is the fact of with more games ahead of you, a feeling of finality. And that's kind of how I took that, was very much the Bears did it. They did what they came in to do, which was make the playoffs and knock the Packers out. And then right after that, just for comparison, because I had already seen it, but I go back to watching the Rams post-game locker room speech. And it's very, hey, we did awesome. We held it down. Another one next week. Let's go. Let's get ready. And then you see, like, you go like looking back and they're celebrating and all this, and then we have very much like, all right, time to get to work. We don't know who we're playing next week. Let's. And so from your perspective, do you think that that's a real thing at all, that the Bears maybe have peaked this season, even though they're a great football team this year? Caleb's looking absolutely phenomenal. That defense, if they're getting turnovers, they're unbelievable. But is there anything to that? Do you think that like the Bears have done it this year and that it might be done?
Well, that's a good question because we won't know until they take the field on Sunday. But I will tell you who you could tell after the game was not satisfied, and that's Caleb Williams, right? What's been really interesting about this season is I mentioned that Eagles game. That's really the only game all year that they've played like a great 4 quarters. Maybe they beat Dallas pretty good week 3. Other than that, there's always been something. Like there's been a bad quarter, usually at the beginning of games, but once in a while, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. And that's what's scary about this team is they have not reached their potential yet. They have so much untapped potential. Caleb will miss some throws. People will drop passes. There have been so many mistakes that have happened during this season. And while things like penalties have gone down lately, and that's really helped them, the fact is they haven't tapped into everything that they have yet. And Caleb seems super motivated going into this game. And, you mentioned the kind of the finality of, okay, you did it. Are you going to be kind of satisfied with that? I think it's kind of the opposite for them. It's almost like the big dragon is slayed now, and now we can be free and just play and not be worrying about the pressure and all that. And then the other thing is they're getting some guys back. They've had I think they're the most injured team in the league in terms of players missing games. And they got a guy back this past week. He didn't play for a bit in the start of the game. I think they were saving him for the 4th quarter. I remember I mentioned him to you the last time that we spoke last season. Kyler Gordon, he's their nickel cornerback. He's barely played this year, but he's back now. Jalen Johnson, our former Pro Bowl cornerback, he's been hurt most of the year. He's been coming back slowly but surely. So they're starting to get some of these guys back. Now, they did suffer 2 big injuries last week. Their rookie left tackle, he's out for the year, and one of their linebackers is out for the year. But they had so many guys who filled in and played that the 2 guys that are going to step in, DeMarco Jackson at linebacker and Theo Benedict, who you may remember from Hard Knocks as the Canadian Eagle, who stripped down to his underwear. He's going to be our starting left tackle this week. And I think that's really an area of concern for us because I know you have excellent defensive ends and excellent pass rush. So, but where I'm getting with all this is they're somewhat healthier than they've been most of the season. And Caleb Williams is not satisfied. There's still some meat left on the bone. So I don't know if they'll put it together on Sunday, but that leaves me to think that they have a chance in this game.
That's fair. And you mentioned Caleb Williams. I mean, he absolutely is looking phenomenal. That throw that he had, I talked about it all week. It's like, that was amazing though. It's like, it was great. But I think too, it's like looking at like, even I know like stats aren't the full storyteller and stuff like that, but it seems like just balance too. Like Loveland comes in and his Komet is still that guy. You guys have it seems like every statistical category, it seems like everybody who's at the top is like even. It's not like you have somebody who's just like that outlier who's got, it's like, oh yeah, you got to watch for him because he gets all the targets, receptions, and touchdowns. It's spread out very evenly. And that's one of my concerns as far as the Rams secondary goes, is trying to figure out where they want to put these. But on the flip side of that, with the Rams having Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, like what is the plan for that? Because I'm always curious to see, like, from the opposing perspective of like, what is the confidence level? Is that do you feel like you can take them both out, or does it feel like you got to try to wrap a tourniquet and see what you can do?
Well, the confidence level is low in terms of covering those two guys. I mean, we've seen Davante Adams a few times in our past as well. And, as I said, we have an excellent, when healthy, excellent cornerback group, but they haven't been healthy. So those top two guys I mentioned, they'll be playing, but they're both playing injured to some degree. Then we got a guy named Nashawn Wright, who led the league in takeaways this year, who is kind of your feast or famine guy. He's either going to take the ball away or he's going to get burnt. So you do the math against Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, I'm going to go with the burnt more often than not. So I think this could end up being a shootout. You mentioned all of our weapons. We do a lot like you do, Joe, with the three tight ends, the 13 personnel. So, I know you have an excellent group of tight ends with the Rams. You mentioned Colston Loveland. He might be the best tight end in the league right now. He is, if you saw that game, he has just taken over the league the second half of the year. It was really funny because there was this big debate because they drafted him over Tyler Warren, who the Colts got, I think, 14th. Loveland was 10th. And early on in the season, Warren was spectacular and he had a great year. But Loveland, once he started playing more, he's become a real focal point of this offense. And you're right, there's just too many guys to cover and too many options that we have. But I know we're going to have the same problem on the other side.
Well, you can go ahead and have Loveland being the best rookie tight end, but I think that after a couple of years, we may have to toss in Ferguson on this class as this might be the best tight end class of all time. We have
impressive, huh?
Incredible depth this year in that. But before I let you get out of here and think about get back into just being internal with with the game and playing out all the scenarios, I want you to finish a few sentences for me. And,
okay, I like this.
They're very basic. All right, nothing too insane for you. If the Bears are playing in the NFC Championship game next weekend, it's because blank player went off.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to go with Colston Loveland. That's been our guy. He's been our backbone the second half of this season, and we have other options. But you know what? I'm going to change it up just so that I give you another name here. Luther Burden, another rookie. He is very dynamic, and he's the kind of guy who can be a game breaker. And I think he's been a little quiet these last few weeks. He might have a chance to, if he goes for 100 yards, we got a great shot to beat you.
All right. And if the Rams are playing in the NFC Championship game next week, who went off?
Well, Puka Nacua. I don't know how we're going to stop him. I know that's not much of an answer, but that's going to be the real question is, can we – another thing we haven't had much of this year, pass rush. It got a little better toward the end of the game against the Packers, but if we give – Matthew Stafford all the time in the world to throw, no matter what Dennis Allen has cooked up, whether it's blitzes, whether it's zone, whether it's man, whatever he's doing, it's going to be hard. So I think if Nacua has a big game, we're probably going to be in trouble.
And he can do it at any moment, which is so scary. And then when you try to take him out, Davante Adams just takes over again. Sure. So it's I don't know. I'm glad we don't have to try to over that because
I'm sure you feel that way.
it's nice in practice too that like those are the guys we practice against all week, and then seems like it gets easier on game day. But obviously, there's some incredible talent out there. But hey, thank you so much, Rishi, for coming and chatting with me here on Ram Showcase. Socials will be any like Twitter stuff like that will be in the description below. You can give a follow and maybe give some light trash talk to Rishi as the game.
So let me just add one more thing, Joe, and I think this is worth noting. With the weather, special teams could be a huge factor in this. And our kicker, Cairo Santos, he's been around the league for a while, not the longest leg, but he knows how to kick at Soldier Field. If you watch the middle of the 3 Green Bay games, he was right on with how the wind was working. He has these dirty kickoffs that he goes with. Our special teams have been pretty good the last few weeks after maybe not being quite as good early in the year. So watch out for the special teams. If this one is close, I think if it's a close game, I like our chances. If you guys get out to a big lead, it's going to be hard. But special teams, that might be the X factor.
I absolutely agree. Duvernay does scare me a bit. We have had some rough special teams all season. Fired Chase Blackburn just a few weeks before the playoffs started. So it is very much a wobbly position right now where we have a kicker we didn't start the season with, a long snapper we didn't start the season with. So I think we're settling in. Harrison Mevis has looked incredible. He's only missed one on the whole in any attempt to extra points and field goals. I'll hit my wood here, but it's yeah. So I think special teams, you're absolutely right. And the weather is, we'll see. It's the ultimate expert there. Do you want to give me a score prediction, or do you want to leave that out?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. And the only reason I'm going to do it is to jinx you. So I said I was going to pick against the Bears all postseason. It worked last week. I'm going to go with Rams 31, Bears 27, which was similar to what the score was against Green Bay last week. So Rams 31, Bears 27.
Okay. Perfect. I'll piggyback on that pick. I'll just I'll just take that too. And I feel good about it.
Sounds good.
Rishi, thank you so much for joining me again. And hey, good luck to your boys this weekend. If they move on, all the best the rest of the way as well.
Thank you, Joe. This jersey I wore for the first time. I just got it for Christmas. I wore it during the Green Bay game last week. So I'm wearing it again. So you're in trouble, man.
I'll have to make some phone calls. I'm going to try to steal that sometime. Thanks again, Rishi.
Thanks, Joe.
Rishi, thank you again for joining me, talking some football. Hopefully your weekend ends sadly, but if it does not, then hey, best of luck the rest of the way. That is your game preview. Bears taking on the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday, NBC, the last game of the weekend. We got the longest wait for it. We'll get into fan quesos, though. That is right after this break. It's Ram Showcase. Welcome back in, Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. Let's go ahead and hop into our fan quesos. We're going to start over here on the Facebook page. I know we have like a bunch today, so it's not that I want to give like bad answers or anything like that, but we will get through these because I want to hit them all. That's the important part here. But these first few here coming from Gary. Let me see here. Says, just wanted to say I appreciate all the shows and the time you put into the work. You are the best source of Rams information. Always enjoy your podcast, dude. Thank you so much. It was awesome to be able to meet you at a game. I'd say there's not many people that from like watching the show that I've been able to actually interact with and meet, but it's really fun to be able to do that. And for it to be in Green Bay too, I think it was just one of the most phenomenal things. I was able to meet, we met up in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Monday Night Football when Baker Mayfield was the quarterback for a little bit. That was quite a journey, man. That was fun times, man. So that's good stuff. I really appreciate that, dude. Like genuinely, it's one of my favorite things to hear about. That I'm not just screaming Rams stuff into the void. This actually goes somewhere and people appreciate it. So genuinely, man, thank you. It's awesome. And it says if we get snow in Chicago, will it slow down Caleb Williams from running? You know what? It's certainly possible. I think that ultimately if we get snow, that's like, it's the cutting that is going to be the hardest part. And I think for the Bears offense, I think it actually hurts them a little less if it does snow because of the cutting. I feel like the Rams are very much change of direction and misdirection and a lot of stuff. So to answer your question, I would say I still think that he's gonna do his damage on the ground. We just got to try to mitigate that as best as possible. In the snow, it's certainly realistic that it could be, a tough day, but that's a hard one, actually. I'm not sure if that would increase or decrease his running. I'm trying to wrap my head around it I'm not really sure. You may just take off way more if it's snowing. So that's kind of where my head's at. Next up here, it says, after what Puka did against the Panthers, can he play nickelback if we need him against the Bears? Dude, you know what? I don't even think that would be the worst call. I think that'd actually be awesome. I think that he could do it. I think it would be probably sick, dude. He'd probably get a pick six on his second play, which would be pretty cool. Let's head over to this Facebook page. These few coming from Edwin. Emphasis on the win. Says, hell yeah, back in the divisional round. Now let's go all the way. Yes. Stafford said during his post-game press conference that he loves those fourth quarter comeback moments. Why do you think he thrives in those moments? And do you think he is the best quarterback the Rams have ever had when he wins another Super Bowl with us? He's already the best quarterback the Rams have ever had. Just put that out there. Okay. He is for sure the best quarterback in our franchise's history. All right. Which is crazy because he's only been here for 5 years and he played a bunch at another place. So it's not to say that somebody next won't overtake that or anything, but we'll worry about that when we get there. But I think that he already is the best. If he does win another Super Bowl, then first of all, he's the first Rams quarterback to have multiple Super Bowls. Sean McVay would be the first coach to have multiple championships. It would be a lot of cementing of a lot of pieces for this franchise. I think that immediately puts Les Snead into the upper echelon of GMs. I think that puts Sean McVay, Hall of Famer. He turns 40 this month. Crazy. And then, Matthew Stafford, who I think is already a Hall of Famer with what he's done. That's just the weird thing, though, is that I feel like they would not let him in first ballot, but I don't know why. It's just a feeling I have. But if he gets another one, it's one of those things, especially if it happens the way that first one did, where it's very blatantly he taking over and doing some damage to a team, the no look, the pass to cup and stuff like that. Whereas you can look back at Brad Johnson winning a Super Bowl and it's so it's one of those things. So I think it also depends on how you do it. And if he tags that with a second Super Bowl and an MVP, shut it down, dude. Shut it down. Shut down the voting. It's over. It's over, man. Decisions have been made. It's white smoke. Or I actually don't know. That's a weird little twist that I didn't talk about. I chose not to about the Pope and the Bears. It's wait a second. Hold on. Did you? Hey. Okay, next up here from Edwin. Do you think Captain Q will have a better game against the Bears? I think he was shaking off some rust and still made some good plays. I absolutely agree. I think he's just getting back into game shape. That happens. Pretty standard stuff there. That first game back is a little bit rougher. Some people can come back and just absolutely the Rams signed Eric Weddle off the streets and he just came in like a monster. But not everybody's Eric Weddle. So Lake is incredible. But yeah, I do think it was a little bit of okay, getting back into it, shake it off a little bit, and then now we're ready to roll. Number 3, who do you think has the big game against the Bears? I think Adams goes off against a team he has historically owned. I just think Puka, man. I know it's an easy pick. I know that's an easy pick, but I'm going to say Puka. And I'm also going to say Jared Verse going against, they lost their left tackle last week. Jared Verse going after that, I think is going to be a pretty big deal. And at some point we're going to get playoff Jared, right? Right? Hope so. Next up, what has been your favorite moment of the season so far, and which players have impressed you the most? Go Rams, go Joe. Go Edwin. So far, my favorite moment of the season has legitimately been Colby Parkinson's touchdown over the Panthers. That play, the whole thing of that play was absolutely unbelievable. The way that the Rams set that play up by going to Puka earlier, and then Stafford just not even hitting a full pump fake, just a little he just did one a little shoulder shake on him, and then that opened it up. 2 guys crash in on Puka, and then he goes out to Colby, who the defender's backs to him, so it's just back shoulder that bad boy, let your guy go make a play, and he did, and that's absolutely all you want. Looked like Puka play out there, so I've been calling him Colby Pukinson this week. It's not going to stick, and I hope it doesn't, because it's a terrible nickname, but I'm having fun with it this week. That's all. But, I think that those That's for sure. Which players have impressed me the most? Puka he's one of those guys that is just like, you got to be kidding me sometimes. Like, what? AJ Jackson, considering the story of the blood clots coming into the year, he's been absolutely incredible. Devontae, I don't know if I understood really how much of an impact he would have, but leading the league in touchdown receptions, obviously. So there's not a lot of bad to talk about there, man. But and Stafford, man, he always just kind of blows my mind. That guy's crazy, man. The things that he does sometimes, it's like, jeez, man. And we're just so used to seeing like Sean Mannion, friggin', Sean Hill and stuff like that. Thriller Rock that like we have Matthew Stafford's like, oh my God, like who is this guy? It's just kind of the energy that it's got. It's kind of crazy. Overall, the YouTube channel, we're just gonna run down this list here. I didn't look at any of these before going, so we're just gonna go down this list. Payo time. Situation: the Rams ask you and Tuna to go undercover as reporters to NFC West rivals press conferences to ask troll questions. What questions would you ask to each team knowing you could get kicked out? First of all, you're sending me and Toons in there, dude? We're creating chaos, man. We're like Beavis and Butthead going in there. It's like, this is bad time, man. Like, who let these guys in here? For the Niners, I think it'd be one of those things like, I don't even know if the things are true, and I doubt it actually, but it'd be like, what's it like being shorter than Sean McVay? Kyle Shanahan. He'd be like, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Stuff like that is what I would ask. I don't know what Tuna would ask. Tuna is a lot more he's a lot more something than me. I'll let you decide. I'm a little bit more casual with my jabs, like I would do that kind of stuff of like, how's it feel to be shorter than Sean McVay? And he's like, I'm not. And then like, because in my head, he goes home later that night and he's like eating dinner. And he's like, why did that guy think I was shorter than like, so that's where my brain goes. For the Cardinals, who am I even talking to? Who am I to Kyler? I'm like, hey, Kyler, does it? And then for Seattle, I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard one off the dome. Seattle. I don't know if I have one for Seattle right now. I need them to fail first before I get mean. Paul says, has Nate Landman taken a step back lately? No, I wouldn't say so. I think that this is the way the games have been unfolding. He hasn't necessarily been as prominent, but the punches he's still trying for. I think that it's just a matter of time before, this is Nate Landman. That's my impression. Before he's punching one out again. And then we're like, oh, now he's fine. But yeah, I don't know if I would say he's taken a step back at all. I would just say that the games haven't necessarily developed in a way for him to be the explosion. I love taking shots at the Cardinals, man. It never gets old. In fact, one last little shot at the Cardinals, as this is unprompted. The Houston Texans are 26 years old as a franchise, and beating the Steelers on Monday was their 7th all-time playoff win, matching the Arizona Cardinals all-time playoff win number, 7. 26 years old for the Houston Texans. You know how old the Cardinals are? 128. 128. 102 years older than the Houston Texans. And one more playoff win for the Texans puts the Cardinals back into last place all-time playoff wins in the NFL. Boom! That's rough business, man. I can't even imagine. Payo time. What classic song would you pick to have on a game trailer for this game? I would pick Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Thanks. Love the show. First of all, why? It's a cool tune. I don't know how much of a game trailer tune it is. More of like a commercial tune, in my opinion. But let's go Fort Minor. Remember the name. I feel like I've referenced that all the time. I'm going to stick with it. Has Mevis done enough to be considered the Rams' longtime solution at kicker? Absolutely, dude. I mean, he's missed one kick overall. And it was a field goal. It was a terrible miss, in fairness, against the Atlanta Falcons. But off the boot, looked so beautiful, man. I literally was raising my hand to high five my friend. And then the ball was like, whoop, and I was like, you know, that's tough, man. But yeah, absolutely. I think that the Rams should bring him back. Moody says, what are your 303 hacks for staying warm? I don't have any because I don't live in the 303. I live in the 719. Shout out. I was just going to skip over. I will answer that. I was just going to skip over it because you said 303 and I don't live there. I don't live in Denver. No, I don't live in Denver. It's a whole different city. It's like it to equate it into like California terms. That's not like LA to Inglewood. That's not that for Denver to Colorado Springs. What it is more like LA to like Sacramento. It's just a whole different thing entirely. So disrespect taken, by the way. And my hacks here, if you're going to the game, anything like that, it's layers, man. That's the biggest one. Layers and then tucking. Tuck your layers. Your most under shirt, tuck that into your pants for sure. If you want to go layers on pants too, don't just wear a pair of jeans like a friggin' bozo, dude. So you want to wear a couple pairs of pants too, and then you'll want to tuck the under pants. Well, I guess that checks out. But you'll want to tuck those into your socks or your boots or whatever you've got there. Make sure you get something up in this range. That's what I like to do. Also, I'm a thin guy, so I got a bundle. You know, I don't do like scarves or anything like that, but I do love a good whatever those things are called. That kind of just like wraps. What are those called? I've got a royal blue one that's absolutely gorgeous. I wore in Green Bay. But yeah, it's layers and tucking. And then also those little hand warms things, those little hot hands, dude, freaking crack some of those open, man. Just pop them into your sleeves. Pop them into your sleeves, pop them into your pockets, your inside pockets in your jacket, put them into your pockets in your pants. And then also you could just put them wherever you want, man. Wherever you're feeling a little bit chilly. That's where you slide those bad boys into. We'll worry about that again next year too when we're in Denver, because I'm hoping for a cold game. I'm hoping for a snowy cold game. If it snows, I'm going to take Tuna out in my car. We're going to do some donuts around the parking lots and stuff, because I think he's scared, and I'm really excited about that. So, but layers, tuck, hand warmers, you don't want that. And yeah, you don't want any of your thin areas being exposed. You want to cover up your ears. If you can do anything about your nose, that's cool. If not, you probably will be fine. Just kind of make sure that you're kind of, doing some stuff. And then your fingies too. You want to make sure you got gloves, so that you can high five properly and stuff and hold beers. Boom. All right. 719 though. Moody. 719. It's not this one. It's that one. All right. I learned that in high school. Stupid. Let's see. Rams house. Whose house? If Kyron Williams were a genre of music, what genre would he be? Left field. Left field question. Let's see. I feel like he's not. Dude, I think he's like, I don't know why smooth jazz just keeps coming back into my head, man. Just the way the movements, it's a little bit, it's not as coordinated as you maybe would want it to be, but that's why it works so well. It works well in tight spaces and stuff, So I feel like I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go smooth jazz. And I think that I satisfied myself in my reasoning. So that's good. Is this the Jared verse game? This one comes from Rams house as well. I sure hope so. We're waiting on it, man. It does feel like that's something that can happen at any moment, obviously. Athletically, he's a maniac, so it certainly can happen. And it does feel like this could be the one, considering we had a backup left tackle. You got to think that backup left tackle, it's like he comes into the game, he's playing and stuff like that, and he's like, all right, cool, it's fun to get out there. And then he looks at the schedule and it's like, Jared Verse, dang it, man. Like, you couldn't be good for one more week, And so I think it is certainly possible that Jared Verse kind of has one of those days. Next up, Payo time. This might seem kind of weird. Love it when it starts like that. Heck yes. All right. But when the Bears played the 49ers a few weeks ago, I remember thinking, dude, I wish the Rams could play Caleb Williams and the Bears. I like this. I just thought it would be a fun game for all football fans to enjoy. I expect this game to be one we remember for a long time. In 2009, terrible year, the Packers and Cardinals combined for 96 points in a game. Do you think this could be a game that could break that. Thanks. Love the show. Love your show. Do I think this could be a game that breaks that? Maybe not because of the weather, but I do think there's going to be more points than people expect. I'm going over on that, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. As far as like my stuff goes, I'm hammering over all day because we're at the 49.5. I just feel like we could do that, and then whatever the Bears can push together, you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily I'm predicting a blowout or anything like that, but I do think that the Rams could put up some points in this one. If that secondary, the thing is like the more I learn and dive into the Bears defense, the more I'm like, oh, we should be all right. Like, and that's a terrible feeling to have in the playoffs. But it is that way. It is like you look at all of their information where it's like they can't get pass rush. They are really aggressive and will jump double routes and stuff. And you get guys wide open. It's like that kind of feels like exactly what we're good at, man. As long as Matthew Stafford's got time in there and these receivers can do their damage, dude, he doesn't even have to be looking at you to throw the football to you. I mean, I just don't know how you defend it. And the Bears specifically just feel like a team that is like not equipped to defend the Rams. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they shut us out. Maybe they shut us out. I have no idea. But it does feel like the Rams are equipped to do well against this defense. So I wouldn't necessarily say I think that 96 is where I'm ballparking this one. But I'm actually shooting myself. I'm thinking closer to 60, 65 personally, which is a lot of points. But I think the Rams can do some damage too. Rams house. If Aubrey Pleasant were a candy, what would he be? Ooh. Aubrey Pleasant would be a Reese's peanut butter cup, but just like the Halloween style, where it comes in the single, and it's just because you see it, you know what it is, it's awesome, and it delivers every single time. But also, he's just like assistant head coach, secondary guy. That's why I'm going with the single, because it does leave you wanting a little bit more. Just a little bit more, man. Just a little bit more. I'm not trying to put it out into the universe too much, but I like that he's not getting interviews because I love Aubrey Pleasant. He's one of my favorite coaches that we have on this roster. I think he is absolutely incredible. Incredible human being, phenomenal coach. I love Aubrey Pleasant. I'm a huge Aubrey Pleasant fan, and I hope he sticks around for a very, very long time. So all the positive things to say about Aubrey Pleasant for sure. Who has the sickest nickname on our current roster? Oof, man, there is something to be said about Big Rig Higgs, man. That's a fun one, man. I really like that. Land Shark, solid. Landman is my least favorite personally, and I understand that a lot of people love that one and stuff. I just think it's not a Joe nickname. It's just a mispronunciation of a name, and that's like, it's not a nickname, man. It's Landman. He just is dirts. I don't know what kind of superhero would Landman be. I don't know. I just think that one's kind of boring. But yeah, Big Rig Higgs, Land Shark, Captain Q. I really like. I would say Kingpin, but I don't even know who that is. I was asking. I was like, what Kingpin? What does that even mean? And it does make me feel a lot better that when Braden Fisk was asked about what superpower he would want by Quentin Lake, that he was like, well, what does Kingpin do? Because that's a nickname I've got. I don't know who that is though. And I was like, yes, thank goodness, man. I'm not alone here to being like superheroes. My superhero's Puka Nakua, you know what I mean? And 2021 Cooper Cup. And so I don't get into it. We were talking about that today. Somebody at work was like, you've seen the Marvel movies, right? And it's like, no, no, I haven't seen the Marvel movies. What are you talking about, man? And then, I told him that the last superhero movie I watched was the Spider-Man that had Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, which feels so old now. Saying those names just feel old. Oof, aged myself, yikes. But yeah, I don't get into that. But the nicknames, yeah, that's where we were at. Glock 9 is a good one. It's a tutu train. Tutu. We've also started using that for Blake Corum, by the way, because he's 2-2. So tutu. Just in case, because Tutu Atwell probably bouncing out this year. Let's see. Did Lake and Adams look rusty out there? And why is our secondary bad? Very different questions. I'm going to try to answer. This is from Porter, by the way. Did Lake and Adams look rusty out there? Maybe a little bit. Getting back into game shape, that totally happens. And why is our secondary so bad? I don't think that they're necessarily I like our players there. I just think that we're being taken advantage of because we are so soft in that realm. Like we are not an aggressive bunch in the secondary, and I think that teams are just properly adjusting to that. I think that's why our numbers have done what they've done. Rams House says favorite Kenny Young moment. I've got nothing on that one, man. I don't know. These former player ones are so hard when my brain is only on Chicago. It's enveloping my entire brain is like, how can the Rams beat the Bears on Sunday? And then I'm thinking back to Kenny Young and like, I literally can picture him in a Rams jersey, but I can't. These are off seasons for me. I'm going to be honest with you, man. We'll loop back around. Ask me all these in the off season, but my brain just cannot pull those files at this moment. I'm blanking on, like, it was like Sam Shields. Now, Kenny Young, stuff like that. Yeah. I don't have it right now for that. I'm just so playoff mode right now. It's like people ask me about draft. And I'm like, I don't care about the draft right now. We're in divisional round. What are you talking about the draft for? Who cares? Who cares that we're adding as a guy who's going to probably be a backup next year? We're playing in the playoffs. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I get it, I guess. Not to say that that's where your question's at in my brain, but it's very difficult to go that far backwards when I'm only focused on Sunday. So we'll follow up on those. The Rams lose this game if they lose the turnover battle. That is Rams House's question. Leaves me a blank space there. The Rams lose this game if they lose the turnover battle. I really do think that. I think that if you are giving them the football back too many times in a row, you're going to have a bad time. Let's see here. Porter, will Lake and Adams play better in Bears? And Adams knows Bears when he played with the Packers. Will he get a monster game? I wouldn't necessarily say that that's reasonable. He did obviously play against the Bears a bunch of times, but that was a different regime entirely. I mean, I think that the 25 Bears are the new Bears, where anything before that, I don't know if you can say like, well, they played against them last year and it went this way. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter. I mean, that was a different coach. Caleb Williams looked way different. I just think it's a whole new vibe out there. It's like saying that in 2016, the Rams did a bad job against whatever team. So in 2017, it's not going to work out. And it's like, well, that's not real. It's like Sean McVay's here now. It's a different Rams team entirely. So I would put it that way. And let's see here. My camera might quit. We'll try. Let's see. Am I the only one bothered by Bears fans thinking the cold is going to make us self-destruct? Getting tired of the narrative. Do you think the weather will make the team a bit more even? I don't think it elevates them to an insane level while dropping us. I'm with you there. I don't think that it's one of those things where we'll be looking at it's like, well, if only it was like 15 degrees warmer or anything like that. But also it's like we shared the meme on Tuna and the Sheriff. It's like of a homeboy from The Office. So shut up about the cold, man. Like, it's like, okay, it's cold. It's January in Chicago. It's cold. Okay. I get it. It's cold in Chicago in January. Sweet. We still got a football game to play. It's not like we can postpone it for a week because it's like, well, let's warm up a little bit. No. Who cares? Whatever the weather, it could be colder. I don't care. We just gotta play some football. Because I'll be out there too if I could. You know, I would be on the sideline in a t-shirt if I could just be on the sideline the whole game. I don't care. So I don't know, man. It's football. They're football players. Football's a cold weather sport. Let's just play some football where it's supposed to be played, which is places like Chicago. So, and then Greg Zuerlein lining up for the 58-yard field goal in New Orleans to send LA to the Super Bowl. Where were you in that moment, and did you feel confident he'd drill it? For me, I thought he was going to miss it, and Breeze would have the last possession to win. What a time. That's crazy. I was at my friend's house, Aaron's house. We watch a lot of playoff games there. That's where I'm watching this year. I'll say this. After he hit the field goal to send it to overtime, I wasn't worried about the overtime kick. That much I do know. And like we were into it, like me and my friend Seth were standing right next to each other. I dropped down on one knee. I'm in it, you know. And then in the video, we did a video of it. It's on my channel. He drops down too, and we're just kind of like sitting there, and it's like kick goes up, and then we slowly, as the kick goes up, we also stand up, and then it's like as soon as you see it, because the kick was coming towards us, as soon as you see that little gap of yellow kind of disappear, then we just lose our minds, and it's so much fun, man. That video, maybe I'll share it in the description if I remember to put it there. But yeah, that was, I was confident that he would make it. I really did. I think it was one of those where it's like, geez, he's one of the sickest guys ever, dude. Like, he's going to nail this, right? So yeah, that was absolutely awesome. I just hate that he was the only one that scored in the Super Bowl. Just bad times, man. Bad times. I'll put his jersey back up. I took it down in favor of the Stafford for obvious reasons, but maybe that one comes up next week. We'll see. We'll see if we're here next week. Hopefully I get another game preview. I want more. I want to do 2 more at least. Okay. Join me. Will ya? Let's have some fun. Again, Tuna and the Sheriff, every weekday morning, 7 a.m. LA time right now. You can always go back and rewatch it as well. It's only 30 minutes, quick hitters. And then we kind of just keep it moving, dude. Keep it moving. But we'll also be doing the pregame stream. I will have another trivia question. I don't have it yet, but I will get one for you. We'll be doing another Ram Showcase towel as Ram Showcase listener Bill scored his. I need to get that bad boy in the mail off to him so that he can be waving that for the Super Bowl. I got you, Bill. We'll get that out to you rather soon, man. I'll just do it tomorrow. How about that? But thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Shout out Rishi Barron again for chatting with me about the Rams and the Bears game this weekend. Absolutely awesome. I love when I've got like friends who are that passionate and that knowledgeable about their team, because it just makes it so much more fun to have those conversations. And it's not just like, you guys suck because of this. And it's like actual, like, well, they did this and this happened. And, I love that kind of stuff. So I'm here for all that. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. This has been Rams Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.